Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jacksmiller, and as always, a very special welcome to those of you watching online at onespotmedia.com. So in today's program, we're going to be talking about the National Housing Trust and the NHT's development at Ruthven Towers. Prices for that unveiled recently, and well, the eyebrows of a number of people perhaps went as high as the prices of the units. So there's been a lot of talk about, is the NHT out of order in terms of putting these units on the market, or is it part of the housing process? Is it the NHT serving all its contributors, not just a portion? And is the NHT fulfilling its mandate? So we're going to be talking about all those issues throughout the program. With us this evening, we have Executive Director, the Caribbean Research Policy Institute, CAPRI, Dr. Damian King. We have Member of Parliament for St. Andrews Southeastern, Julian Robinson. Realtor Nadine Neal is with us, as well as Chief Executive Officer of West Indies Home Contractors, Marvin Campbell. Just before we go to our guests, so our colleague Janella Perseus, TVJ news editor, recently did a documentary looking at the housing crisis in Jamaica, and in particular in Kingston. Just want to share a few excerpts from you. We are not purporting to say that all the people interviewed were NHT contributors. We're showing this just to illustrate the concerns people have about difficulty getting affordable housing. Let's go to that.
If there were adequate housing, my granddaughter and my son would still be alive today, because they wouldn't have to be on the hillside.
We just don't have money to buy land, so we just build. And it's one room I start from until I reach where you see I am at now. One room, throw partner bill, sell Guinea every little thing. And I work. So we just take time and build up because I want to be comfortable.
Material has to come. And whether the rich man or the poor man or whoever, them don't know say how a bag of cement and steel and anything, they cost money.
There is nobody to represent and stand to get rid of this system that don't set to help the poorer class.
I purchased here for $2 million. That was in 1999.
Additionally, the search for a new place to call home proved challenging.
Constant Spring, Kingston 8, same place in New Kingston here, and I see that I could not. Even the old apartments like here, we're going for like 33 million. You have the Courtley Towers that is as probably old as here, and they are going for 33 million. You have Abbey Court, $33 million for a 2-bedroom.
So for $14 million in Kingston, that is, it's next to none.
I've been looking for both house and land, because if I can't get I even looked at a place, Green Acres, 1.8 mil to hear that I have to pay cash. So I'm a civil servant. Where am I going to find the cash?
Them nah build no house where local poor people can get. $12 million, $40 million, and then the house in the building. Where poor people get that from?
I would say 10 years or more from start work. 15 years ago I start work. And mommy and daddy say, you need to go get your own house and stop running down car. I buy 3 cars so far, and I can't get a house.
We shouldn't have it so hard to live. Because whole heap of wasteland, whole heap, we can't count it millions a acre. You know? Yeah, and we should need a waterway that, you get what I say? So we should have access. Yeah, we should have access that we can take over some of the government land, them where they say government. Well, you know, we must have to put to a Beverly's or Jacksonville or, you know them places?
I don't know how, but if there's a way to supply more affordable houses, that'd be good. If we could up the NHT benefits, that'd be good.
Okay, so remember our hashtag is TVJ All Angles, and you can also WhatsApp us. Our WhatsApp line is 381-0072. That's 876-381-0072. Please give us just your first name and your general location. So what's the prices we're talking about for the Ruthven Towers units? They range from a low of 27.7 million for a 1-bedroom to 37.7 for a 2-bedroom. We did invite the National Housing Trust to be on the program. They declined our invitation, asked them to be on radio as well. They weren't available yesterday either. They did, though, send out a statement saying that Ruthven Towers is only one of their many housing developments, that it has 86 units, representing less than 1% of the about 10,000 housing solutions that they are now building across Jamaica. They said they are satisfied that there is demand for the units, having looked at their contributor data. And they also said that they offer housing solutions at a range of prices, including as low as 4.5 million, and they named that development as the Estuary in St. James. All right, let's go to our guest now. Mr. Campbell, Marvin Campbell of Wicon, let me start with you. Are these prices out of whack with the market?
Yeah, good night, Dion, and to your viewers. No, I mean, these prices aren't keeping what you're seeing on the general market for developments, in that area. Within, New Kingston, Golden Triangle, Waterloo, those are the prices that you're going to see high, based on the income bracket that they're targeting, which is more of an upper income bracket. But I don't believe that the prices are really, exorbitant.
Okay, so if Wicon, so if Wicon built something in the general area, I would be paying about the same.
Well, you'd probably be paying a little less, because I did a comparison with our lofts development. And just
I'd be paying less.
Well, you see, Wicon's a very efficient company.
Than for an NHT. What? Sorry, finish your point you're making.
So I'm saying, well, I just did, an approximate, square foot cost. Right. And while I don't know what the exact inputs are and the cost drivers for NHT, I mean, the general cost drivers impacting most persons now, with the COVID supply chain issues, concrete and steel prices, lumber. But just a comparison to our development that we did recently at the lofts, I believe we could probably come in at a better price point, but I don't know what the specific challenges are for NHT around this project.
All right. Do you as a developer, do you have a problem with the NHT bringing units to market at this kind of price? How does it affect the market? Let me put it that way. Well,
I think the key is NHT has to be clear on what its mandate is, and what space it really wants to play in. Yes, it's 1%. They're saying of the housing construction, so it's not a big number, but from the optics, it doesn't send a strong signal. Personally, from a perspective as a developer, I mean, the product is not way off. There's a demand for it. If it's not being subsidized and they can recoup the funding and utilize any returns from that project to help to subsidize the lower income market, then we're fine with that. But what I believe the real challenge is that the lower income market is underserved. The demand is so great there that I believe a lot more focus and emphasis has to be placed in that segment of the mass housing where a single contributor, could obtain a unit readily available to them. That's the real challenge. Right. And if the NHT could pool its funds more in that area, I believe this kind of feedback they wouldn't be getting, even if they had a similar product here.
Okay, Capri had looked at that and had some interesting stats. But before I got to Damian King, Nadine Neal, your thoughts as a realtor on what we're seeing NHT put on the market here? How does it impact the market, if at all?
To be very frank with you, it is a welcome project because there are many persons that I personally work with now, and the private developer prices are a little bit more out there. So it was really interesting when Mr. Campbell said he would have come in a little lower, but the location influences the price and the demand is great, especially for persons like in the 30 million or less bracket. This is a very welcome project. Granted, it's something that we didn't anticipate that NHT would come in this price point. It was a bit of a surprise for a lot of persons, including myself. But the truth of the matter is that the demand is there, and I have zero doubt that these units will sell in no time.
Wow, give me a round number. If you're taking a mortgage to buy one of these, about how much would you have to be earning to buy the cheapest, which is the 27, 28 million? Rough figures.
Roughly, I would say the safest bet for persons who are looking to purchase, and it depends on their age group, of course, because that will give you a certain number of years to repay, but give or take anywhere between $4 to $5 million per year.
Okay. Now, let me bring in Damian King here. And let me just say as well to viewers, when you look at the National Housing Trust Act, which sets out the functions of the National Housing Trust, it doesn't say anything about poor people housing, right? It says to add to and improve the existing supply of housing by promoting housing projects, making available to contributors loans, and encouraging and stimulating improved methods of production of homes. When you look at the mission statement of the trust now, they say their mission is to improve the quality of life of Jamaicans by facilitating home ownership and community development, particularly among lower income contributors, while ensuring prudent financial arrangement. Damian King, is this development by the NHT problematic?
Well, if you'll forgive me, Diana, and if you forgive me for saying this to probably the best interviewer in Jamaica, that's not where I want us to start. I don't want us to start with, is NHT doing the right thing? And what should NHT be doing? And is this project consistent with their setup? The question that I would like to start off asking is, given the role of a government, given the role and functions of a government, what is the economic or social problem that the NHT is solving? Let me say it a second time. What is the economic or social problem? I
tell you what, let's make a deal.
Which the NHT is the best solution.
But I tell you what, let's make a deal. Let's come to your question in the next segment of the program if you start out by answering mine. So is the development problematic?
Well, the development is problematic because it epitomizes, it exemplifies that the NHT is not solving an economic and social problem that we have. So it is just symbolic of the problem.
Meaning what? What does that mean?
Well,
because
I cannot
people
think
would say our problem is housing, and that even young
our problem is $40 million apartments in the Golden Triangle. No, I don't think that's an economic or social problem that the government should be trying to solve.
Okay. Julian Robinson.
Or government agency.
Julian Robinson, is it problematic for you?
It is on a number of fronts. First of all, at the level, I want to deal with two specific issues. I think the NHT needs to be fully transparent about the factors that led to the final pricing. I don't accept that it's just general inflation. There was a change in scope when the project was launched, which I believe led to the prices that we have. And I think the NHT should be fully transparent about that. But the broader issue, I don't believe NHT, even though it's 1%, should be in this market for a number of reasons. One, the market is well served by the private sector at that level of the market. In fact, I can name in my own constituency a plethora of developments which would be competing with this. So the persons at that level of the market have many choices. Secondly, as Marvin said, everybody you are compelled to pay the NHT contribution. It is a tax that you have. And the focus of the NHT should be on providing affordable housing for the majority of its contributors. They may be able to help the top 5% here, but that's not where the problem is. The problem is we have 200,000 Jamaicans who are seeking affordable housing. And so I don't buy the argument that you can make profits from this and use it to subsidize. Frankly, the NHT has $57 billion as is in the budget this year to spend on housing. The question I want to know is, how is the NHT spending that money so that it can solve the problem to have affordable housing for nurses, policemen, teachers, people who work in BPOs, the majority of the persons who simply cannot afford to buy a house close to where they work. That should be the focus of the NHT. And even though it's 1%, I don't believe this is the segment of the market that an NHT, which is a tax on all Jamaicans, should be competing in.
Okay, let's just go to the break and we come back with more. Remember our hashtag, it's TVJ All Angles. Remember our WhatsApp line as well. It's 3810072. Don't call it. WhatsApp on it. All right, give us your first name and your general location. We'll soon come.